Now, if you were lucky enough to watch the British band Jungle at Kirstenbosch Gardens on Sowing the Seeds last weekend, you will appreciate just how talented and spectacular these guys are live. This morning, we've got a real treat for you because the two founders of the Jungle are in studio with Graeme to chat about their first time being in the country. But before we head on over to them, here's a roundup of who Jungle really is.
With their star on the rise in the British music scene, Jungle, comprised of childhood best friends Tom and Josh, have kept pundits and fans wondering who are the faces behind the mid-tempo funk tunes and viral music videos. Jungle's focus on their artwork and videos has managed to keep their faces out of the limelight, although those lucky enough to see them on stage can vouch for their fierce live performance reputation. Before their debut album had even been released in July 2014, the band had already performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live and played Glastonbury Festival. And now they are finally in South Africa for their first time. There's no stopping J&T, as they're better known, from bringing their unique sound to music lovers all over the world.
Oh man, we are so excited to welcome the British funksters Jungle to Expresso today for their first time here in South Africa. Tom, Josh, gents, thank you so much for joining us and this early in the day. You've just arrived in South Africa. I know you've been busy already. Tom, maybe I can start with you. Your thoughts, your feeling here in South Africa,
It's
bro?
amazing. I think like you get to, it's so rare that you get to kind of travel around the world anyway, and then to do that for your job and doing something you love with your friends is amazing. So we're just really happy to be here. It's our first time on this continent, so hopefully it's going to be a really good time.
Oh, hopefully the first of many trips out here. You called it a job. Really? Is it really a job, guys? Josh, you guys seem to have so much fun, but you've kept us in suspense. The image of the band has been very much this projected graphic image. Your music video is insane. It took us a while to actually find out who Tom and Josh and the rest of your band are. Talk to me about the start in the industry that you guys had. Why go that route? Why keep us in suspense like that, man?
Well, I think, for us it was mostly about the videos and about, these amazing dancers. We couldn't get up there and dance like that. So, a lot of the time we're sort of behind the lens and creating things and trying to present the best thing that we've seen in our heads in the studio and give that to the kind of public, I suppose.
And I think eventually it got to the point where the public demanded to know who you guys are and the people behind the music, but it's a collaborative effort. Talk to me about your style of music, how you come out. I've called you funksters. There is something really 70s funky about what you guys are producing. Talk to me about that musical process.
I think when we're in the studio, the most important thing is that we're moving and that we're enjoying ourselves. And I think when you then try and translate that onto the stage, we made the album just ourselves on a laptop, and then you kind of go, if we're going to play this live, there's so much to play.
It needs to involve more than this. Yeah.
So we just got all our friends together, got in a room, and sat down and kind of tried to work it out.
Talk to me about your musical backgrounds. How did the two of you end up in a very funky moment? Where does that come from? Who inspired
Well, we grew
that?
up in a funky sort of neighbourhood in West London, and yeah, we lived just very close to each other. Yeah. And there was this wall that ran behind our house, so when I moved in, I was straight up onto the wall, looking around. Is there any kids to play with? Tom was just casually sitting there, like that, waiting for me.
Casually sitting.
Yeah, and we just sort of hit it off. I suppose when you're young, you sort of have to find things to express yourselves with, and whether it's video games, football, rollerblading, music. Music was our sort of uniting factor.
Yeah, the tie that binds, man. Now, you guys, you've been anonymous for a long time, but in your live shows, and I've looked at tons of reviews online, and you guys spend a huge amount of time performing. Obviously, the live is something that you really do love. Have you had to come out of your shells? What do people get when they experience, and I'm going to say experience, a live show? They're not just there to listen, man.
Well, I think the whole point of the live show is like energy. That's kind of the principal factor in what we want to achieve on stage. It's just us having fun and trying to vibe off the audience. When we were 15 and we went to gigs, you kind of take that energy from the people that you're watching on stage, and then we're kind of lucky enough now to give that back to our audience and kind of keep that cycle of energy going.
And they absolutely love it, and your style of music also feeds into that kind of energy. Whose decision was it to remain anonymous? What was the initial motivation? Was it a conscious choice?
It was never really a conscious decision. I think we were in the middle of making the album, and we'd made the first video, and our manager was like, we need a press shot for the single.
I think it's very difficult in the modern age when everybody wants something. You know, you're supposed to have a Twitter before you even put any music
Completely,
out. So I think we were just a little bit late on that, and we put a lot of effort into the videos, and we just sort of let them do the talking.
Well, in a weird way, that's almost doubled back and created even more mystery and more interest in the content that you put out.
We don't even know who we are.
So what can we expect from you guys in the future for 2016? I want new music. What's in the works, guys?
Well, we're working on stuff. I think, obviously, we've been on the road a lot.
Yeah.
So you kind of try to split your personality between the stage and the studio. But we've had quite a consistent amount of time over the winter in London in the studio. So, you know, things are coming together, shaping up nicely.
What's your favourite song to perform live?
Depends on honestly, it completely depends on the day and the crowd. You know, sometimes it's like the really rogue ones, like the B-sides that kind of you have like a more intimate moment with the audience with. But you know, at festivals,
with the real fans.
I think for us, the end of the set is always the energy ramps up towards the end, and you know, the last four they don't stop. So.
Oh, gentlemen, thank you so much. I know there are a lot of excited fans out there, myself included, but thank you so much for taking the time
Thank you very much.
to come to our little corner of Africa. And you know this is an open invitation to come back to our studio any time. And you don't have to walk up Lion's Head to do it. You really can come anytime. Tom, Josh, thank you so much for joining us this morning, man. Ah, man, we love their music. Awesome to have them stopping by our Expresso morning show studio to give you just a taste of the genius behind the band Jungle.